Hi, everyone. My name is Michael Scanlon. I just want to welcome you all tonight to an awesome session we have planned. Tonight, we have Claudia Bouchard here, who's going to talk about food safety, healthy choices, and really everything in between that you need to really succeed in the kitchen and really make healthy choices for you, your young adults, families, whatsoever. So tonight's session is brought to you by CPAC, Connecticut Parent Advocacy Center. We are really all about information, resources, and support for families and the Youth Advisory Board. And we're all about really moving young adults forward to realize their potential, engage in leadership opportunities, and to make positive change. And tonight's session will be recorded. And Claudia, I'd love for you to take the floor now. It's all yours. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, everyone. Thank you for having this opportunity to share what I have learned. So my name is Claudia Bouchard. I'm a science teacher, and I have a US FDA food science certification. So last summer, I learned all this new curriculum, and I really wanted to share with all of you because, safety in the kitchen, how we handle the food is what makes us healthy. And, sometimes we don't realize, but, we need to take care of that because we are in charge of our cooking, healthy diets, and all that. So I would like to share my screen if I can. I do have a presentation. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen. So bear with me. This is sharing options. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to speak as I'm doing the presentation. So So the goal of this presentation is for us to learn about the 4 C's of food safety. And they especially did the 4 C's because that way they're easy to remember, C, 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 C. And that way you can implement that when you're at home cooking, when you're with your family. The other goal of this presentation is to provide you with resources for healthy eating. And we're together and having a good time as we're learning about food safety. So something that, a lot of people say, well, whose responsibility is to keep food safe? So if we think about where does the food comes from, right? So it comes from the farm, right, where it's grown. Then it goes to a processing factory. Then the food is packaged and put in boxes or containers, and then it goes to transportation. Then it gets to your local retail store. And then you go and buy your groceries. So whose responsibility is to keep the food safe, preventing foodborne bacteria from growing? Is all of us, from the person at the farm, from the farmer, that the practices that he implements in the farm, the process and how critical control points, to make sure that that food is kept at good temperature, that is packaged in containers that are appropriate for packaging, the transportation, if that food, when it's transported in the big trucks, is refrigerated or not. Then it goes to the retail, your supermarket, and how the food is stored at the supermarket. And then when you go to the grocery store and you buy the groceries, how you're handling those groceries. So something that I learned that they have at the grocery store is they don't keep a lot of the ready-to-go foods like your potato chips, your crackers, and all that, right? The packages that you generally will open and eat close to your meat, right? Because that meat may have some juices, and when you're touching that, you may cross-contaminate something that is healthy for eating. So everyone in the food industry, from the farmer all the way to you that buy the groceries, is responsible for the food safety. In this module, we're going to look at the big picture that explains how food safety is everyone's responsibility. And if we look back at the picture, we have, from the farm to the processing, the transportation, the retail, on the table. The second activity is bacteria everywhere labs show that bacteria is everywhere. Like it or not, bacteria is everywhere, and that's how easily it can be spread from one surface to another. So that's why it's so important to wash your hands to keep things separate. So I wanted to do a little math. I have a calculator, so don't worry, you're not going to be quizzed on this. But I do have a question for you. Have you, any of you, have been affected by foodborne illness? Like maybe you go to the store and you eat, you go to a restaurant, you eat something, you're so happy, you get some food that you like, and then you get home and you don't feel good. You have stomachache, diarrhea, nausea. Has any of you experienced that?
So I'm seeing in the chat, Claudia, yes, a few of us here have experienced that.
Oh, well, I have to be honest, I love sushi, but I stopped eating sushi because of that reason. I would get really sick after. And I'm like, it's not worth it, right? I really like a food, but if it's making me sick, what's happening? So I see that maybe 3 out of 4 people. Okay, so let's say, oh, sorry, there we go. So 4 people maybe got sick in a group of 10 people. So that will be 40%, right? Now, if we think about Niantic, right, where CPAC is located, it has a population, according to the 2010 census, of 3,114 people that live there. And if we calculate how many people may get sick because of food illnesses, that would be 1,245 people that may get sick at one time in their lifetime, right? It doesn't have to be all the time, but that's a big percentage. That's a big number of people getting sick because the food was not safe to be consumed, because the practices were not safe. So, and that's something that you can take care and prevent. Stop it, the spread of bacteria. So this is another data from the 2010 US Census about foodborne illnesses. As I say, this is old, but this is the latest data that they had. They had 48 million illnesses, 128,000 hospitalizations, and 3,000 deaths. That's a big number for something that could be preventable, right? Washing your hands, cooking thoroughly, not, when you cook something, you don't eat it, put it in the fridge. So simple things that you can do to prevent all those illnesses and death. Okay, so I have a very short video that I would like to share with you. It's from the 80s. It's kind of funny, but it shows all the things that you can do wrong when you're cooking, when you're preparing your food. So I'm going to show the video. Please let me know if it plays or I need to represent.
First, it starts out on a farm, then it gets processed, then transported to someplace.
So can you see the video? Okay. Can you hear the video, the sound?
Yeah, we're good.
They use this music to get a CSI kind of thing.
Hi, Hi, my name is Tracy, and I'm doing a video science project about food safety. I've heard about Dr. X, the crusading food scientist who's dedicated his life to fighting bacteria and foodborne illness. I think the work he's doing is really cool. I mean, we all eat, so it affects all of us, right? Well, I finally tracked him down at his secret laboratory, and he's letting me tag along for the next few days. So we're here monitoring the bacteria alarm system. And
It's a code 56. Let's roll.
uh-oh, that's us. Gotta go. Hey, Dad.
Hey, honey, how are you?
I'm great.
How was your day?
School was totally awesome.
Really? How
You
so?
know the best I was saying for last night?
Alex, is that you?
Yeah, when's dinner? I'm starving.
Just a few minutes. Why don't you wash up?
Sure, what are we having?
Chicken, potato salad, a little bit of mixed greens.
So they're cooking dinner together. They're going to have chicken and salad and some mixed greens, okay?
Okay, Tracy. Stay close and be careful. Okay, folks. Nobody move.
Dad?
Yeah, I'm at the Barkley house. I got here just in time.
What is going on?
Honey, there's a man in the doorway.
Who is this guy?
Do as he says.
Please put your forks down and back away from the table. Just doing a check of the 4 C's of food safety.
For what?
Are you sure you have the right address?
Ma'am, this back detector hasn't failed me yet. That's short for bacteria.
Ew.
Folks, I have a few questions for you. Now, who made dinner?
I made the chicken.
Can you show me where you prepared the food?
Right here in the kitchen.
Sir, can you show me exactly where?
Sure, right over there.
Did you cook the chicken to a safe internal temperature?
Yes, of course. I used a food thermometer.
Did you prevent cross-contamination by washing the cutting boards thoroughly in hot soapy water between uses? Mr. Barkley, please tell us the truth.
No, I didn't. I just thought
You thought what, Mr. Barkley?
I was in a hurry.
Oh, Dad, I used the cutting board for the salad after you made the chicken.
Just as I thought. This cutting board needs to be washed thoroughly, and these vegetables may be contaminated.
So as you see, the dad used a cutting board to prepare the chicken, right? And then the son made the salad, but forgot to wash the cutting board, right? And that's where the bacteria from the chicken will stay, and then it's transferred to those veggies.
Just remember, folks, bacteria don't slow down for anyone.
Committed to fighting food.
Okay, I'm going to stop with the video. And I'm going to continue with the presentation. So as you saw there, it's really important when you're using different, if you're cooking a full meal, right, it's really important for you to have, to clean everything. Okay, thank you for waiting. I need to get back to that screen. I'm sorry, I'm taking a little, there we go. And let me make it smaller. I'm sorry for the technical difficulty. So do you remember what was the meal? What the family was preparing for eating? So the dad was doing the chicken, right? And then the son was preparing the salad. There we go. So the 4 C's of food safety are clean, right? So even before we start cooking, clean your hands, clean the surfaces that you're going to be using. Many times, like I have my son that likes to come and help with the salad, and the first thing I say, go wash your hands, right? Anybody that wants to be in the kitchen helping, wash your hands. I also like to always have a ponytail. If I have long hair, have a ponytail, because nobody likes food with hair, right? So clean all the surfaces, all the knives or spoons that you're going to be using before. The other C is to cook things thoroughly, right? So make sure that if you're cooking chicken or pork or beef, that is cooked to the temperature that is needed to be fully cooked. And oftentimes the use of a thermometer is the best thing you can do, because, you know, we cannot really tell from the outside if it's fully cooked or not. Then to chill everything. So whenever we cook something, we're not going to use it, put it in the fridge, because the cold temperature will prevent bacteria from growing fast. So you prevent bacteria from growing in your food. And something that is also very important is to separate things, right? So if you're going to be cooking beef or chicken, to have a cutting board and a knife for that, and then have another one for your vegetables. So cleaning, always wash your hands and surfaces, right? It's very sad, but 20% of consumers don't wash their hands or surfaces before they start. It's funny, I have cats, and I know that at nighttime, I'm pretty sure my cats will be jumping on my kitchen counter without me knowing. And, cats go everywhere, right? So they're going to be touching those surfaces that I'm going to be preparing my food. So it's really important that before I even start cooking, even though I know I cleaned it the night before, I need to rewash it, right? And it's also a good idea to just have a bottle with a solution of bleach with water that you can easily spray and just wipe off. Cook to proper temperatures, right? So a lot of people like their beef, medium rare, medium, well done, but it is really important to make sure that it's thoroughly cooked. If it's not, in the inside of like a chicken patty from a burger, you still have raw meat, and that will contain a large amount of bacteria that will make you sick. And as you see here, there are different type of thermometers that you can use, right? So if we look at the pop timers, right, all the turkeys that we buy for Thanksgiving or Christmas, we put them in the oven and they have the little popper. And that is the built-in thermometer that is used to make sure that the meat is fully cooked. Or you can get a digital thermometer or a dial thermometer. And honestly, for $10, you can get a nice thermometer that you can use every time to make sure that your food is fully cooked, and you can clean it and reuse it, and it would last you a long time. So that's a really good purchase that you may want to make for your kitchen, because you can use it for many things, right? That to make sure that everything is fully cooked to the temperature that is needed to be cooked. Also, something that, I don't remember, what is the temperature that, turkey needs to be cooked at, or, chicken or beef. So it's a good idea. You can just go to any website and just take a screenshot of those temperatures, and you can print it and put it in your fridge. So that way you don't have to remember. You have it always there, and you're able to use that information to make sure that your food is thoroughly cooked. Combat cross-contamination. This is a funny one, right? So simple. You cannot be using the same cutting boards for fish, chicken, vegetables, because you may be transferring bacteria from those meats to your vegetables. So something that you can do on a budget is you can go to maybe a yard sale or the dollar store and buy, maybe 2 or 3 cutting boards, and you can label them, one for fish and meat, one for vegetables, and you can also do a drawing at the bottom. So easily, or you can put a sticker of what it is. And that way you use your vegetables just for vegetables and your meat just for meats. And still you have to, wash them both. And also, the use of Ziplocs, right? We like to save money, be thrifty, but we cannot really reuse a Ziploc that we use for meat from the freezer and then, to store bread or vegetables, because that way we're transferring that bacteria from one food item to another. Chill. Really important that after you do your cooking, you refrigerate your food, because bacteria grows really, really fast. So within 2 hours, the food that you maybe just left on the countertop will be full of bacteria that will make you sick. And it's really also really important to make sure that your refrigerator is at the proper time for refrigeration. So it needs to be 40 degrees. And that's, you can make sure that the setting is properly set at 40 degrees, because if not, bacteria will reproduce in your food that you just cooked, and that will make you sick. Oh. Okay. So now I have a little knowledge checkpoint, see if you remember. So what are the 4 weapons that Dr. S uses to fight harmful bacteria? You can put it on the chat, or you can unmute yourself and let me know. And the hint is the 4 C's. Clean, good. So the 4 C's are clean all your surfaces, clean your hands. Even before you start, all the surfaces that you're going to use, any spoons, knives that you're going to use to, prepare your food, clean them. The second one, cook everything thoroughly, right? Make sure that the meats that you're cooking are at the temperature that they need to be. Sometimes they may look good from the outside, but the inside temperature needs to reach that temperature, like of 160 or 170 degrees. And it's really hard to really tell that with the eye. So that's why it's smart to get a food thermometer so you can easily check it. And then when you're done, you just wash, rinse your food thermometer and put it away. To chill, right? Chill everything. After you're done cooking, you chill it, right? Also, when you come from the grocery stores, right? It's important as soon as you get home to refrigerate, to chill that food that you just purchased, because if you leave it on the countertop, bacteria will grow, and bacteria reproduces really quickly. Within 2 hours, that food will be full of bacteria. And then the last C is combat cross-contamination, right? So we don't want to use the same utensils, the same knife, the same spoon, the same cutting board for meats or vegetables. Because generally vegetables, you just rinse them with water and you can just have a salad or raw broccoli, raw cauliflower, right? Or your fruits. But if you're putting that to cut on top of a cutting board that you just cut chicken or beef, you're cross-contaminating. You're transferring the bacteria from one item to another. So what does food science have to do with food safety? Well, it's really important, right? Because, all of us like to eat. All of us take part in this process, right? And it's important, what is the science? That when we cook something, truly we're killing that bacteria so it doesn't grow, so it doesn't make us sick. By refrigerating the food items that we purchase, we prevent bacteria from growing. By preventing cross-contamination, we prevent bacteria from growing. Whose responsibility, right, is to keep the food supply safe from the farm to the table? And that will be everyone, right? From the farmer at the farm that, you know, does the planting and does the picking, to the people, the workers that are packaging, that they need to make sure that that food is safe, that is not moldy, that is not rotten, right? And that goes packaged and then put in a truck to be brought to the store. That trucker has to make sure that those containers are kept at a temperature where bacteria is going to be at a minimum for growing, to the local store where they store and where they're displaying the food. How are they putting that food next to what, right? So you see that at the grocery store, how things, they have the fruits and vegetables in the front, and then they may have the fish all together in an area, and then they have the beef in a different area, right? They're not mixing the food, because there may be a cross-contamination if those things were all together. And what effect does the 4 C's have on bacteria? So by cleaning, right, you're destroying the bacteria, you're killing it. By chilling, you're lowering the metabolism of the bacteria, right? So that bacteria will not grow as much. You prevent the bacteria from reproducing and growing. By cooking, literally you burn the bacteria, right? You cook the bacteria off, it will not get you sick. And by cross-contamination, right, you're preventing the bacteria from transferring from one food item to another. Therefore, you're not allowing that process, and you're eliminating the amount of bacteria that may be in your surfaces. So those are the 4 C's of food safety. Now I would like to open the floor if you have any questions.
So I actually have a question, Claudia. So like hearing you talk about like the different stages of safety and maybe where things can maybe go wrong, so to say, you know, do you have any other information on like food recalls? Like it brought to kind of mind like when companies do recalls, and like, do you have any advice on how to keep aware? Like, is that something maybe grocery stores typically handle and then they relay that to you? Or yeah, just any of your thoughts on that?
So regarding food recalls, generally what the stores do is when there is a huge recall, they will call, you know, they will call the product out. They will take the product from the shelves. And that's why it's important, you know, many times to use your store card for the savings, right? Because they're able to track what you buy or you don't buy. So with that information, they may call you and let you know, hey, you know, a week ago or 2 weeks ago, you purchased this item that has been recalled. Also by law, they do have to display, they generally put a flyer of all the recalls that they may have. But this was funny. This happened to me and I was like, oh, I was so surprised. I bought wheat flour at ShopRite and I put it in my pantry. You know, I use wheat flour once in a while. I like to mix it with the white flour to make like a little bit richer bread or dough. And that wheat flour was recalled, and they were able to obtain the information because I used my store card and that had my address and my phone number. So I received a phone call. They just left that information on the answering machine stating that that flour has been recalled. If I could, you know, either discard it or I could bring it back to the store for a replacement for another brand. So all the laws, you know, are there to help us to prevent all this, but that's why it's really important. You know, if you go to the store, you know, you can, when you're at the cash register, you can look to see if there is a flyer for a food recall. You know, also watch TV generally when there is a massive food recall, all that information will be displayed on the news. I remember, when was it? September, October, there was a massive recall for soft cheeses. And they came, some from Mexico, some from New Mexico, and they were, sold at different stores. So as a safety precaution, they recall all the cheeses, soft cheeses from that brand. And the same thing, stores will give you the money back or replacement for that food item. But if in doubt, I'm sorry, throw it out. Your health, your well-being is more important than, a package of cheese, right?
No, thank you for sharing that, because that was like too, like there's a couple times where like I didn't buy the product that was recalled, but like I almost did. So it's just one of those things to be aware of. So thank you for educating us on that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Well, if you have any questions, you can reach out to CPAC and, they will forward the information to my attention. But it's really important, doing the 4 C's, like, cleaning your hands, surfaces, making sure you don't cross contaminate things, right? Having a food thermometer, cooking things to the right temperature, and chilling your food are really important. And that's the best way that you're going to be able to prevent bacteria from reproducing, growing, and making you sick. Because like it or not, bacteria is everywhere. We have bacteria in our skin, in our mouth, in surfaces. So the best we can do is prevent, lower the amount of bacteria that we ingest, so that way it doesn't make us feel sick.
No, thank you so much, Claudia. I think what you talked about is so relevant, especially because, and I can speak for our youth advisory board members, is like, cooking is so essential for like just life skills and for young adults just to learn. I mean, not only can you eat healthier, you can, stay on budget. So really, I think we're so grateful you came with us tonight, because we really wanted more information for the community and young adults and family, just because, like you really shared, it's not to like make everyone scared, but just to make everyone aware there can be some key basic steps that if you follow them, you should be pretty safe. But we do have to really be aware that if a couple of these things are iffy, whether it's not washing your hands, transferring stuff, you really may be sick. And so just in efforts of helping move communities forward, just thank you so much for your time with us tonight. And we just really appreciate your expertise, Claudia.
Thank you. And I think that this is a relevant topic for everyone, right? If you have, little children helping you, if you have, teenagers in the kitchen, you want to start cooking, right? I have 2 teenagers at home, and I'm like, today's your day to cook, like, right? And, having those skills, learning how to cook and be safe at it, right? Because that's a skill that you're going to have to cook for the rest of your life, right? And it's a nice hobby to cook, to make a nice healthy meal. But knowing the preventions that you need to take, the precautions that you need to take, so that way that food that you prepare is safe for everyone to consume. And just reminding everyone, many times my sister with special needs will come and help me, and I'm the same thing. Well, let's wash hands. Even if you're stirring the pot, wash your hands, because you don't know, maybe you touch your pet, maybe you touch a surface that was dirty, and like it or not, bacteria is invisible. We don't see it, right? And we're touching things. So wash your hands, or hand sanitizer, and wash your hands thoroughly. You're supposed to sing happy birthday when you wash your hands. That's how long you're supposed to wash your hands for. They sound like very simple things to do, but they really work.
Mm-hmm. And I was laughing a little bit. I was on mute, of course, while you're talking, but when you mentioned your cats, because I know myself, I have 2 cats, and a lot of our youth advisory board and CPAC employees. We're like huge pet people at CPAC. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I need to really make sure my cats are not creeping up on where I'm working. They're awesome. But so it just kind of made me laugh. Like I didn't really even think of that, you know? So really, like you shared the night before, I may not see them get into something. So just those little life stories you shared were really helpful.
Thank you. Yes, I have cats, I have chickens, I have a bunny, and I love them all, but it's like, wash hands. But I know because I hear my cats at nighttime, like, you know, go into places that there should not be. So I know that they're crawling in the kitchen. And so always, you know, my kids is like, but mom, you just cleaned that. I'm like, I know, but I want to be safe and make, you know, yummy food for everyone. So it doesn't take much of time. Just, you know, you can wipe it with a little bit of bleach solution. That's another, you know, go to the dollar store, get a bottle, fill it up and clean it, you know, and easy, simple. It doesn't take much time, and you make sure that that bacteria that was in that surface is dead. So it will not make you sick.
That's awesome. And really, you broke it down so well, just making it a routine. It's not like once you get in the habit, it's not, you don't have to think twice about it. So that's what's really cool about this.
Well, thank you very much for having me, and look forward to partnering up again and, you know, give you more information about food safety and things
That's
that we can all do at home to prevent bacteria from growing.
Yes, again, Claudia, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for attending. Again, this will be recorded, is recorded. It will be up on our YouTube channel. So this will be posted. So anyone who couldn't make it tonight, and we'll be sure to, yes, we'd love to partner with you again, Claudia. I think you're a wealth of information, and just you're so knowledgeable. And I know you'll be helping a lot of young adults and families. So we'll be sure working with you down the road.
Great. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And thank you, everyone. And I'm going to stop the recording, and have a good night. I appreciate it. Take care.
Bye-bye.